President of the Congress of Local and Regional Authorities of the Council of Europe, Ms. Gudrun MOSLER-TORNSTROM. Welcome to our Mediabox platform. Maybe I should tell that you are the newly elected president, so that's why I would like to congratulate you firstly and say again welcome to our Mediabox platform once again as a president of the Congress. You are a very well-known personality in the Congress, and as we know very well, for 7 years you have been working active in this house. But I would like to ask you also to represent yourself. It's going to be perfect for us to hear from yourself your experiences in the Congress.
Well, I like to do this because my experiences in the Congress are various. I have been a member since 2009, and since then I'm very actively involved in the core businesses of the Congress. What are those? I mean, I have done a lot of election observations, monitoring missions. I have represented the Congress in various big conferences, and that helped me really to gain practical experiences. So I know the work in the Congress from different levels. In addition to that, I had the chance to get to know the work of a head of a political group. I have been the head of the socialist group here in the Congress, as well as the president of the regional chamber. So I think this gives me a background which can help me for my future work for the next 2 years, and because I know the work from different sides.
And it is also important to underline that you are the first woman president of the history of the Congress, which is really interesting and important. So we know very well that Congress has priorities, especially on the equality between women and men, and try to encourage the member states to have a balance between women and men in the political life, and also encourage the women's participation to the political life. As we know, for example, in the occasion of the 31st plenary session, there were also reports specifically on that point. I would like to have your ideas and your perspective as a first woman president. So what would you like to say about this point?
Well, I think it's very important to have a representation of women and men in politics, and it's very necessary that women become politicians in a leading position, because I mean the world of a woman is very often in the daily life quite different from the world of a man. So we have to look at many different perspectives when we do politics, and then we cover both worlds, the ones of the women, the ones of the men, young people. So that's why it's so important to have this mixture of different ages, different genders, and now we are coming very close to an equal gender division here in the Council of Europe. And this time I heard the first time we had the situation that we had the man as underrepresented sex when the composition of delegations were submitted to the Secretary General, and the national authorities and governments had to change the composition sometimes towards more men. So this shows that the women are gaining more and more influence in politics, and it's good for the whole society. So I'm very proud that I can be the first president here in the Congress, the first women president, and I think it shows the openness and the modernity of the Congress we are going towards to. So it's a wonderful thing.
And lastly, I would like to ask your priorities for next 2 years. So what you have in your own agenda as a president of the Congress for next 2 years?
Well, as you know, I have been a rapporteur on the priorities. I mean, the task is a huge one, but for me it's very important to raise the awarenesses out in the member states of the importance of the Congress. Because I always say you feel it especially now in times of crisis. In case of you have not a stable fundament, then you can put which policy ever on it, it will not work. And what do I mean with the fundament? The fundament is that we have a strong democracy, we have awareness of human rights, and that we really have rule of laws. And we see in our days now that those pillars are diminishing, and this is very important that we raise the awarenesses of the work we are doing here in the Congress. This is one important fact. The other one is a new area we will work on more intensively. Those are the rural areas. The rural areas are very often forgotten in Europe. So life has been changing, and we have kind of vulnerable groups now in rural areas because of the situation, and a lack of public transportation, a lack of services. So I think there we will have to do a great deal of job. This would be another priority. And of course, the question of refugees, migrants is a challenging task in the future as well. And we have to work on it because we see we have a rising xenophobia. We have problems with extreme right groups. So there is a lot of work to do, and I will really focus on all of this and will try to strengthen the pillars we work with, and we implement them on local and regional level.
Thank you for joining us, Mr. President.